What's up, guys? I'm Morgan True. I'm here in the WBTV LP 99.3 studios at the Media Factory. Today is September 15th, 2017, and it is day 2 of the first Burlington teachers strike in 40 years. So how did we get here? Well, after 10 months of negotiations, the Burlington School Board and the Teachers Union, the Burlington Education Association, could not come to an agreement over a one-year contract. The two sides were stymied by disputes over salary increases and health benefits, which have to change because of a change in the health plans available to teachers. That complicated negotiations. At the same time, there was a new state law passed, Act 85, which requires the state to recapture some of the savings from those new health plans that didn't help negotiations but does not appear to be the proximate cause of the strike here in Burlington. That really came down to, according to the teachers union, disputes over how teachers are expected to manage their time. The district is asking them to do more with less, they say, and they've really gotten to a point where they don't feel like they're doing right by the students. They're asking if they're going to be charged with coming up with more individualized learning plans, spending more time one-on-one with high-need students. They say that they need time to do that in the teaching day, and that really came to a head for the elementary school teachers. And the union says that is the proximate cause of this strike. After marathon mediated negotiations on Wednesday, teachers came out of those talks saying, look, we were close on salary, we were close on health benefits, but we really couldn't get what we needed for our elementary school teachers. We've had this contract language in the work for years now. We wanted it implemented and we couldn't get it. On the other hand, the school board came out of those same talks with a very different version of events. They said things ground to a halt when it came to salary. They offered the teachers what they thought was a very generous raise, 8% over 3 years, roughly $6,000 per teacher. Well, the union says, look, Act 85 won't let us bargain for more than 2 years. Contracts have to open back up to renegotiate health benefits after 2 years. 3-year contract isn't practical. The two sides are at loggerheads. Talks broke down at the end of the day on Wednesday, despite help from a third-party mediator and the mayor who got involved, urging both sides to come to a resolution that would prevent a strike, that would keep kids in school and not cause that level of disruption. But ultimately, it couldn't happen. Thursday morning, the teachers went on strike. They hit the picket lines. They were out in the community sharing their story, trying to gin up support for what they're doing, what they say is a necessary step to stop what they're calling an exodus of teachers and other educators from the district. They point to 64 resignations over the last 3 to 4 years. And they say, look, these resignations are teachers who are leaving the field, but they're also people who are taking jobs in other districts, sometimes with a longer commute, sometimes for less pay. And they say, look, this is not about the money. This is about us being asked to do things that we're not comfortable with, that we don't think are in the best interest of our students. The district says the changes we're trying to make are ones that are going to help close this achievement gap that's persistent. They're saying we're trying to provide these supports in a way that makes sense, follows best practices. That's what the district says. Teachers say, look, we have a different view of things, and that's where things broke down. However, the school board maintains it really comes down to the money. It's hard to know the truth of what really caused those negotiations to break down because we're not in the room. We don't know precisely. It's been a really disruptive time these past 2 days. Parents are having to find childcare solutions on short notice. The Boys and Girls Club has stepped up, offering essentially what is their summer camp programs. That's helped some parents. Other parents are having to scramble, figure things out on the fly. The schools are still providing free lunches to students in need. That's available to students that need that and their families. Initially, it looked like sports weren't going to happen. It's homecoming weekend, a big weekend, especially for seniors. But Superintendent Yao Obeng worked with administrators and those sports teams. The games are on. Looks like the homecoming game against South Burlington will happen. And so I imagine student athletes are pleased about that. The homecoming dance is canceled. I'm sure some students are bummed about that. They say it will be rescheduled once all of this is resolved. The teachers say, look, we can't be involved, but we're supportive of our student athletes. So they're having to find, non-teacher certified coaches to make sure all this can move forward. But big picture, we are seeing a really tough debate right now between the board and the union. They're having a lot of trouble coming to a resolution. Again, this is the first strike in 40 years. And statewide, we're seeing a lot of struggle to settle contracts. Only about 40% of teacher contracts are settled statewide. We're seeing a lot of one-year contracts. In South Burlington, the school board imposed terms on the union there. They didn't quite come to a strike yet, but that is still a possibility there. There hasn't been any real resolution for their contract. These are fraught negotiations, and if you asked the statewide teachers union, the National Education Association, they say that the governor and the legislature did no favors when they cut reimbursements to school districts in order to recapture those health savings. But at the same time, there is a huge demand in the state for reduced school spending and property tax relief. A lot of folks point to declining student enrollment, and at the same time, property taxes continue to go up. And so I think that this is potentially the new normal. This is the second year in a row that the school board has imposed terms on teachers union here in Burlington. And I think we are likely to see a lot more fraught negotiations in the years to come. So as of midday, Friday, the two sides have not spoken to each other since those Wednesday mediations broke down. I'm aware of no plans for the two sides to communicate. The Education Association is huddling with their members, trying to decide what the next steps should be. And the school board, I'm sure, is doing the same. But at this point, there is no dialogue that we're aware of. And that's a tough situation. We'll be sticking with this story here at VTDigger, so check us out, vtdigger.org, for the latest updates on what's going on with the Burlington teachers strike. Stick with us next week as this story continues to develop, and I'm Morgan True signing out from the Media Factory. Thanks for your time.
I just don't.